I see.
It's connecting. Hi, everyone. This is your host, Roberta Spate, aka Miss Spirit with Dreams Empowerment Network, bringing you the last series of the Women in 2019 Women in Power web series. Woo! This has been a phenomenal series of awesome speakers. So the first thing I want you guys to do is go share. Let's go share this video. We're going to share it. I'm going to, let me see. Share it. And then I want you guys to share it to a special friend who may need to hear this message today. My guest is Dawn Mason, and she's going to give us 5 days to a spiritual breakthrough, right? 5 days to a spiritual breakthrough. First, I want to thank our sponsor, Miss Lynette Michelle Howard, CEO of Extreme Beauty Studios. Okay, she is a mobile makeup artist who holds workshops on one-on-ones on basic beats. So if you got an event coming up, bridal shower, weddings, for the bride, or prom, make sure you contact Lynette Michelle Howard on Facebook with Extreme Beauty Studios. All right, guys. So look, we have this last speaker coming up. And before we go into this, I want you guys to make sure you go to dreamsempowermentnetwork.org. Go to dreamsempowermentnetwork.org about us, and you will see the drop down to say 2019 Women in Power webinar series. I want you to click that. Go and look at the list of speakers in their bio and connect with them. But I want you guys to really register, because after the end of this week, all of this will be taken down off of Facebook. You will not be able to get any of these messages, these wonderful speakers. They will be wiped out of Facebook, gone. I'm going to delete them. And so I'm only sending this information out to those who have registered. Those who have registered, it's free. So go register so you can have these great speakers in your arsenal, right? So let me just cap a little bit of what we had. So we had Don Ferguson, Living Your Dreams Before Someone Else Does. And that same night we had Alan Wilson, The Solution for Life Mastery. Then we had myself. That was Wednesday the 6th. 5 ways to ignite your happiness. And that evening we brought Larisha Warner, 5 crucial steps to pursuing your divine purpose. Along that line, we added Lisa Elliott, how to grow your business with event marketing. And then at 8 o'clock last Friday, Powerhouse Doris Dancy with the devastation of betrayal. And we topped it off today at noon with Contessa Louise, meditation for business success and more. If you have not looked at these videos, it is up to you to go and make sure that you get registered. I'm telling you, those powerhouse speakers, man, these were some dynamic speakers with awesome tools, awesome inspiration, education, knowledge that can help you in your personal and professional life. This is what this Women Empower webinar series was about. It was to give you information, to educate you, to inspire you, to motivate you, to connect you. bringing you the information that you need to better yourself. So, with me saying that as a pure mouthful, guys, I know. I'm just really excited for this. This is our second time doing this. I got my my notes here. This is the second time. I want to make sure I didn't leave anybody out, but this is our second time doing this, and it keeps getting better and better and better. And I am super, super excited tonight to have one of my long friends that, I mean, we go back over 18 years now. That's how long it's been since I first started out as a speaker, as a person that own their own nonprofit organization. She has walked with me through the years and encouraged me. And so I'm super excited when she reached out and wanted to participate. She's a fantastic author, motivational speaker, or inspirational speaker, or spiritual speaker, however you want to put it. You know, she is an awesome woman of God, and I am glad to call her my friend, and I'm glad to have her here tonight. First Lady Dawn Mason, welcome.
Thank you.
So Dawn, tell us a little bit, about what you're going to talk about, and then we'll just go in and start talking about, you know, the 5 points we're going to talk about this evening.
Well, what I plan to share this evening actually is coming from my book, Daybreak. And when you and I last talked, I was talking and you was telling me, you know, about the series and what I could talk about. I thought about the book, and it actually covers 14 days. But tonight we're only going to discuss 5 of those days. And each day has scripture reference, and it deals with different topics, of course, dealing with daily life. And then there's actually an activity for the person, the reader, to do. So hopefully with the 5 days, that at least get people started in the direction that they want to go.
Great. So not only have that book, you have another book.
Yes, I do.
About that book.
The other book is, well, that was the first book. It's actually being reprinted at some point after Daybreak come out, but it was called Good Morning, It's Dawn, and it's a devotional journal, 30 days. And again, that started with me writing my friends and family, sending them little inspirational thoughts. It started out once a week, but ended up being twice a week because people were like, you need to send it more often. So it ended up being 2 weeks, and then at some point it did become a book project, and I'm happy to say it did get published. So, but I am getting it reprinted. So shortly after this book comes out, then Good Morning, It's Dawn will come out. And then I found out that people were not doing it as a daily devotional, they were reading it as a book. And so some people read the chapters, you know, the daily as, like I said, chapters. So it's a good read, I think. And I was very happy with it. And I was actually surprised because I share actually in Daybreak that when I was in school, I didn't like writing, probably because I wrote so much. And but I found that when I read this stuff, I go back and read stuff that I've written. And I'm like, wow, I wrote that. So, you know, I'm pleased with how things are going with this writing thing.
Great. Well, tonight we have a lot of men on here. One of the questions from the men is, are these books only for women?
No, actually, it's for anybody who wants to read them. It's not geared to women. It's geared to anyone who wants to feel better about themselves. It's not geared to just women. I mean, a lot of women, of course, read them, but no, it's open to anyone. I write from my own perspective, but it can apply to anybody. It's not just for women; it's for men and children too, if if they choose to read it. But no, I just write from my point of view. But again, it's life issues, so I'm sure that men will be able to see themselves in some of these activities as well.
Mr. Kelvin Long said, thanks for sharing. You women are powerful. Yes, we are. This is one of the reasons I wanted to showcase our women and build them up and let them know they have the power within themselves. They have the keys to the ignition to start up whatever it is inside them. And we talked about that with our earlier speaker, Contessa Louise, about finding that time to meditate, to bring up that vibration, bring up your encouragement, your to stimulate you to be fired up and be ready to go. So most definitely, thank you for that comment. Did I read one of the other comments was congratulations from Mr. Coker. And Marcus wanted to know, are those inspirational books for women only? You answered that no, they're not. Men can be inspired by that because a lot of your stuff is biblical or scripture based, as I recall.
Yeah, and actually it is. And as a matter of fact, especially with the Daybreak, you'll find we may not go through it tonight, the ones that I've picked to talk about, but a lot of the stories that are in the book are about men. But again, it applies to any day, any person. So they'll be surprised that they'll find themselves in the book as well. So it's not just for women. It's for everyone.
Look, guys, I thank you guys for being a part of the timeline, asking questions. What I need you to do is share, hit the share button. Make sure someone hears this. 5 days to a spiritual breakthrough. She's going to list 5 days, well, not 5 days, but 5 ways, 5 points to a spiritual breakthrough. So make sure you guys share this video. Again, I would like to thank our sponsor, Ms. Lynette Michelle Howard, the mobile makeup artist of Extreme Beauty Studios. You can find her on Facebook. She's there for weddings, wedding showers, prom. She also hosts the Basic Beat 101 as a workshop, as a group, as well as one-on-one training. So make sure you connect with Lynette Michelle Howard on Facebook. So you guys is finished sharing, and let's dive into these 5 points. She's going to give it's more than 5, but she's going to break it down to 5 points tonight to a spiritual breakthrough. Okay, Dawn, what's your first point?
The first point is, which is day 1, and it talks about being from bitter to better. And the scripture reference comes from Lamentations, the 3rd chapter, 15th through the 23rd verse. And basically is, you see people on a daily basis that are sad and angry, and sometimes you probably wonder how in the world they got that way. Well, life can take you there. And so there are things that, we have to deal with in this world, but if you're not careful, it'll make you sour. So life circumstances such as poverty, abuse, financial crisis, bad jobs, job loss, home, so on, can make a person who would be normally happy very grumpy. But God doesn't want to be bitter. And so it says in Romans 8:28 that everything works for our good, even the bad things. So we have to put a spin on that. And so I have 3 steps to help prevent bitterness. And the first one is confess they are feeling that way. Tell them what's troubling you. Be honest.
Don,
Point 2 is
Wait a minute, you're breaking up. I didn't hear point one.
The first point was to confess how you're feeling. Did you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Confess to God how you're feeling. You know, He pretty much already knows how you're feeling, but be honest. You have to be honest with Him. You have to be honest with yourself. And then number two, apply God's word to the situation. Do what He tells you to do. You know, go to the scriptures. If you're Christian, go to the scriptures and apply His word to what your situation is. And then three, remember that if it was not for His mercy keeping you, you would be consumed. And then, of course, Thanksgiving. You know the saying, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. On the first day, again, I said there's a charge every day, an activity. So the activity for the first day would be, not change what you're unwilling to admit. If you have a journal or a piece of paper, or just confess your issues, just write them down. And then, of course, be honest with yourself. So that's the first point.
Okay, so what was this third point?
The third point is Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
You have to remember that God is keeping you. Otherwise, you be consumed with whatever is going on in your life. So Thanksgiving, be thankful. And the saying is, when life lemons, make lemonade. Okay. And the charge that I would give to a person on that particular day is to write down everything, all your issues. Just write them down. Be honest with yourself. Sometimes we as Christians pretend we don't go through, but we do. And that's not being honest with yourself. And I say, be honest with yourself. Write it down. Get it out.
Yes, I know a lot of times, like you said, we wear this mask and we go to church and we look a certain way, we dress a certain way, we talk a certain way, we, just have this whole performance. And
because that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, and on the inside, we are really hurting. And I think we were touched a little bit about it earlier. Even, our leaders are, need that break sometimes. And they're human too. They're going through stuff too. But you're right. Confess how you are feeling. Be vocal. I talk to God just like I'm talking to you. But when I'm having my issue, I'm like, come on now.
Yeah, I'm like that too. And sometimes I think God said, Lord, let me do something quick for this girl, because she, and you're right. I talk to God just like I talk to you. I said, I know He already knows what I'm thinking, so I'm going to tell Him anyway.
That's right.
So, but we put on this air that, we as Christians don't have problems, and that it's taboo if you have a problem or to talk to someone. And I'm like, that's farthest from the truth, because everybody has issues and no one is far from having issues. And if you have issues, be honest with yourself. First, be honest with God, but be honest with yourself. That if you're dealing with something, you're dealing with something. Yeah. Don't pretend. Like I said, we go to church and we put on these airs and like, everything is hunky-dory. But on your way to church, you was frowning all the way there until you got to the church door. And then you turn around and put a smile on your face, knowing that you were mad coming to church for some reason or another.
And we are not exempt from trouble. We're not exempt from trial and tribulation. We're not exempt.
No.
So, I know when I was a young Christian, when I first got saved, I thought all my troubles was going to go away.
Hey, if you know like I know, that's just when they start beginning.
Exactly. So, but I kept going, and I had to, because I was bitter. I was, first my two, my two oldest, I had got divorced, and so I was bitter. I was angry. I was a mad person. I was really mad, and it was like I take no prisoners. Everybody gonna get it. Everybody gonna get it. If I see your man and I want him, I'm gonna get him. I was just going crazy, Get your feelings hurt, you get your feelings hurt. Oh well, so what? Kind of thing. I was so bitter and so mad, but I think I talked about this later in one of the other videos, that one of the other webinars, is that I had no one else to blame but my choices, but myself. And so when I realized that I made those choices, I stayed there for the duration of the time that I stayed there. And I had to take responsibility of my actions.
Yeah.
Then I was able to move forward in life altogether. I was able to move forward in life. And like I said, confess how you are feeling and apply God's word to the situation and give thanks. I had to give thanks to what I had. I had two healthy children. I had parents that were still alive that were still able to help me. I had a support system from, at the time, my mother-in-law, my father-in-law, my sister-in-laws. I had a support system there. So I had to be thankful and grateful for what I had and stop holding on to the bitterness of, a marriage. I thought, well, it's a failed marriage. Everybody laughing at me. Well, nobody thinking about me. Not nobody. But in my head, I thought, in my mind, I thought everybody was laughing at me. Oh, she didn't go to college. She could have did this, all of these things. And so I was ashamed. But when I came out, I was bitter because I blamed the person. But I should have been blaming me because I made those choices. I had to take ownership of the choices I made. So, yes, bitter to better. Thank God, bitter to better. Okay, what's our second point?
Okay, well, I skipped to day 3 because I was like, when I was thinking about this webinar, I was like, okay, I wanted to specifically talk about different things. So the third day is antidote, which will be our second day for this purpose we're doing now, is antidote for failure. And the scripture reference for this, again, is John 21st chapter, 3rd through the 11th verse. And in this scenario, we're talking about Peter as a fisherman, and and I'm paraphrasing. I read a quote, and it said, "If you are working towards a goal and you're not achieving it, don't change the goal, change the method of pursuit." And in this particular scripture, Peter was fishing because that was his trade. He was an expert fisherman, but he was having a really bad day fishing. He wasn't catching nothing. And, Jesus told him to cast his net in another direction. And he did. And when he did that, he was successful. So my points that I want to make for this particular, and again, I'm not reading the whole thing, but I am going to go through the steps. Again, here's the antidote for failure. Step 1, change your focus. Don't change your goal, but just change the method. If your method is not working for you, change it. You have to be flexible in your approach, especially if the approach you're using is not working for you. And again, Peter and the other disciples were willing to change how they were fishing. And when they cast their net to the other side, as Jesus had instructed them to, they were successful. Step 2, cooperate. Be willing to listen to wise counsel and work along with others to achieve your goals. Sometimes you need other people to help you. Peter listened. And even though he was an expert at what he did, he was not too proud to receive wise counsel and to work along with the other disciples. And then the third point I want to make in this part is see the results. Wait to see your success. Peter and the other disciples were successful, and success may not come instantaneously, but it will come. And don't worry about the method. It's all about the destination.
Uh-oh.
And the daily charge for this particular day would be, it's a new day, it's a new way of doing things. And you, again, write down what your goal is at the top of the paper and then start brainstorming. You know, is the method that you're using working for you? If it's not, you may want to brainstorm about some other ways to get to your final destination, which is achieving your goal. And there is a prayer that I suggest that I wrote, and it says, Father, show me the best method to achieving, and whatever your goal is, fill in the blank. I am open to learning new things, and I trust you. And then, of course, as God leads you, make a list of alternative methods. And if you have multiple goals, repeat the same exercise for each goal.
All right. So I just want to piggyback on one of your points: change your focus and method. And as I look back at a lot of, some of my life learned lessons, I think about me as a runner, as a sprinter, and I think about how I had to change my method of training in order to do better, in order to win, in order to meet my goals. So I was a person that running came really easy for me. And so sometimes I would not even practice. Sometimes I will fake and fake and disappear and go throw some water on me and come back like I did the workout, whatever. It's like, whatever. And I realized that there were people that were putting in the work. And although, it was on Metro and all of that great stuff and was ranked in the state of Virginia, I could have been, higher ranked or whatever if I would have changed my method and put more work into what I was doing, into my training, and stop half-stepping and not training at all, basically, Stop picking and choosing the workouts that I was going to do. I had to change my method, and my coach would say, okay, we going to have to do heels today or whatever. He's telling us what we need to do to get better, to strengthen us, our endurance, but my method was, I'm not doing this. I'm gonna do X, Y, Z, or I'm not gonna do it. And so, I had to change my focus and change my method and to listen to my coaches and do what he has asked us to do. So yeah,
be cooperative and listening to wise counsel.
Yep. Okay. Number 3.
Okay, day 5. So like I said, I picked and choose what I wanted to share. So we skipping over to day 5. And day 5 deals with is a blessing with your name on it. And again, the scripture reference comes from 2 Kings, the 7th chapter, the 3rd through the 8th verse. And basically, if you don't claim your blessings, it is no one's fault except your own. And in this particular scripture, there were 4 gentlemen with leprosy, and they faced the dilemma, and they could have stayed where they were and died, or moved and lived. So they devised a plan of action and moved on it. And again, what did they have to lose? They didn't have to lose anything. They were already considered outcasts, and we're dealing with enemies of lack and not enough. So why not take the risk? So we have to be willing to weigh our options and take the risk. Again, the lepers in this situation, nothing was them, so they didn't really have anything to lose by making some changes. So they got up and left where they were. And again, for the day, that day would be, of course, read the scripture reference, and then now apply that time to get up and move on yourself. Whatever you are waiting for is not going to come to you. You have to go get, because faith requires action. These lepers in this particular scripture reference, they had faith enough to leave where they were. Like I said, they didn't have anything to lose. They had more to gain by stepping out on faith as opposed to where they were. And that's how we have to look at our situations. Sometimes we have to step in faith and do what we need to do in order to get the results that we want. So pretty much every day piggybacks on the day before. Probably see as time goes on, as we move into the next, how things are piggybacking. So, you're going from bitter to better, and then you have to wise counsel and change your focus, not the goal, but change your focus. And so now there is a blessing with your name on it. And if you want to get that blessing, then you're going to have to claim it, because if you don't claim it, somebody else will. And so it requires faith being put into action.
Yes, go get your blessing.
Yeah, because sometimes they're not going to, and sometimes we just sit there and we pray to the Lord, Lord, I need this blessing. I need you to work in this area. And He's telling you, you got to listen to what He's telling you to do. And if you sit there and don't do what He say do, and just sit there and your blessing just go past you, that's your fault. Ain't nobody's fault except for your own, because you claim it.
That's right. That's right.
And sometimes doors don't knock but one time. And so if you don't move when the door opens, and you sit there and wait and continue to wait, then that opportunity may just pass you by, and it won't be anybody's fault except for your own. Because you didn't move when you should have.
Yes. Yes, you got to move. When you get the word and God has told you to move on something, you better move. You better move. Especially you've been asking for that blessing, and then it comes before you, and then you just hesitate. Okay, guys, look. This is getting real hot and heavy. So look, I want you, if you have not already, share out this video. Share it. I want you to go to dreamsempowermentnetwork.org. That's dreamsempowermentnetwork.org, and go to About Us and click the 2019 Women in Power webinar series. And it will take you to the page where the list of speakers with their bio and their information. Read that. But most importantly, I want you to register. I know it's the last day, the last night, but I want you to register so you'll be able to get these downloads. Because if you're not on the list, you will not be able to get these downloads. And these have been some powerful speakers, guys. So really phenomenal speakers, great content, great information, great knowledge. Great stuff to help you get through your day or get through the month or whatever you may be going through. We talked about some wonderful things during this last week and today. So I want you guys to make sure you get registered. So make sure you go to dreamsempowermentnetwork.org and register. Again, you'll see the whole list of all of the speakers that were there and their bio and their information. You can connect with them after the series is over. You can connect with them. You can connect with me. If you want to know how you can be a part of the next one, how you can be a part of anything that Dreams Empowerment Network is doing and what we're doing. We are serving women, developing them in their professional and their personal life, right? And we're giving them the tools and the resources to do better, to be better, to live better. And if you want to be a speaker of any kind, contact me. If you want to be a part of the 2019 Black Office Expo, contact me. Okay? If you just want to be on our mailing list and get some information that goes out, go there and subscribe. Just drop your email down and subscribe. I promise you, I will not spam you. I will not share your information, but get connected. You have to get connected in order to grow. If you're starting a business, if you need help on that, we have resources for that. We got people that are helping. We got people that are connected with publishing. Connect with us. Connect with us. That is the only way that you will be able to grow your business, grow your personal and professional development. So connect with us. Again, I want to take time to thank our sponsors before we move on again. I want to take time to thank our sponsor, Lynette Michelle Howard of Extreme Beauty Studios, who hosts 101 workshops on basic beats, 101 training, did I say 101? 101 basic training, basic and 101 training. She's also open. She's a mobile makeup artist, so she offers services for bridal, prom, what have you, speakers, whatever your event needs. You need a face beat, you call Lynette Michelle Howard. You can find her information on Facebook, and she'll be glad to give you a consultation. So we are at number 4.
Number 4 is actually day 9 in the book, and it's titled, "When was the last time you had an encounter with Jesus?" And the scripture reference comes from Mark 10, chapter 46 to the 52nd verse, and we're talking about blind Bartimaeus. And it only takes one encounter. You can have 50 bad encounters, but it only takes one good encounter to wipe all of those bad encounters from existence. And this is what happened with Bartimaeus. You know, he was blind. He had been sitting there waiting for somebody to help him, and he heard Jesus coming back. And he called out to Jesus to help him. And, you know, Jesus asked, what did he want? And he said he wanted his sight. And so we can learn from Bartimaeus. He knew that meeting Jesus was his golden opportunity for his life-changing experience. So you have to seize your opportunity for your own life-changing experience. And the daily charge for that day would be, what have you been seeking from God for that day, you know, week or whenever? And then envision yourself as Bartimaeus sitting there calling, and he did call his name. And now you have to listen for him to answer you. You know, what do you want me to do for you? You have to ask God, Jesus, what it is you want. And then you wait for him to ask you what it is you want. And then you tell him what you want. And then you write down, you know, what it is he says to you, and then your results. So that would be our 4th point. You know, when was the last time that you actually had an encounter with Jesus? And what did you ask him? And what was his answer to you? And then, of course, your results.
That's powerful. That's really something to think about. When was your last encounter with Jesus? And again, I want to just back up to one of the other speakers, we were talking about having that one-on-one relationship, having to grow that relationship spiritually. It is a personal journey. You know, I can't be saved because my mama saved or my husband saved. So it is a personal journey. So when was the last time you spoke? When was the last time you gave gratitude? Right?
Yeah, and you know, like I said, Bartimaeus, he couldn't see Jesus, but he knew he was in the vicinity. And when he came by, he called out to him. And you know, he got Jesus' attention. So, you know, we have to get Jesus' attention. Because the only way he's going to answer us is we have to ask him. We have to tell him what we want. And then, of course, anticipate him doing what we ask him to do for us. You know, if you don't ask, you don't get.
Yep.
You can't receive if you don't ask. You know, I mean, even though Jesus has the ability to know what we're saying, because he already know what we're saying, but he's waiting for us to step up to the plate and seize the opportunity to ask him and wait in expectation that whatever we ask him to do for us, he is going to do.
Yes. Yes.
You have to believe that, you know, Bartimaeus believed that if he just could talk to Jesus, that Jesus was going to heal him, and he did. He did receive his sight. But if he had sat there and not said, he'd be still sitting there and still blind. But he took the chance, he seized his opportunity to get from Jesus what he needed. And he did it in faith, believing that Jesus was going to heal him, and he did. He received what he wanted, and that was sight.
And you have not because you ask not. I'm always asking. And but you know what I did, what I had to learn was to ask for myself. You know, I ask for my family, I ask for my husband, you know, bless my husband, bless my child, you know, let him have this, but I never took the time to ask God for a blessing for me.
Yeah.
You know, I never took the time to ask for me. Now I'm always asking for me. No, I might say everybody else, but I'm gonna say me for last. But I'm gonna make sure that he hears my cry. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for sure, I'm always asking, you know, from my friends and from my family and you know, for my children, my grandchildren. And I may get all the way down the line, but at the end of the line, I remember me. And a lot of times we don't remember us in our prayer. We'll be praying for our husbands and praying for our children and praying for our neighbor and the pastor and the first lady and the cousins. And we go through this whole, you know, the sick and the shedding, and we forget to even pray for our, you know, pray for us.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole long lines of, you know, of asking God to heal this person and do this and do that and bless this person and bless that person and bless the person on the street and da 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 da. We forget to even ask for our own blessings. I just want to point that out.
And that's not being selfish.
No. We need to add ourselves on the list. As women, we are nurturing people. We give and we give and we give to our families and we give, you know, constantly. And we always forget about ourselves. We all, we always put ourselves, you know, last, or we don't include ourselves. So one of the things is, yes, we are powerful. We hold a lot of power in ourselves, but when it comes to using the powers for ourselves, we don't. We don't. We won't invest in ourselves. We won't stand up in ourselves in the workplace to make more money. We shrink ourselves, so it's this is the year of the women, as you saw Congress come in with all the
Yeah.
this is our year to take our power that is within us and start the ignitions. We have the keys to be a better us, to collectively and individually. So 5.
Okay, the last one, and actually, again, I skipped to day 12 in the book, but we're going to 5 for our webinar, and it is, do you have what it takes? And the scripture reference is Hebrews 11, and particularly Hebrews 11, verse 6, which states, but without faith it is impossible to please him, for whoever would come near to God must necessarily believe that God exists and that he is the rewarder of those who earnestly and diligently seek him. And I'm going to read what I wrote for that day. It says, Hebrews chapter 11 gives an account of heroes and heroines of the Bible who exercise great faith in God. These individuals exercised their faith and God moved on their behalf. He can and will do the same for us. Faith that moves God is faith that moves without this expectation. Don't just get a blessing, but be a blessing. And that goes into 1 Chronicles 4, 9 through 10, which is best demonstrates of stewardship to the world is being what God called you to be. Jabez's mother, this is the 1 Chronicles 4, 9 is the story of Jabez. And Jabez's mother named him Sorrow because that's what Jabez means, but God calls him blessed. And the daily charge for that day is actually read 1 Chronicles 4, 9 through 10, which is the Jabez story, over your own life. And this is the prayer that I wrote for this particular day. Oh, that you would bless me, and then you fill in your own name and enlarge my border, that your hand may be with me, and you would keep me from evil so that I may not hurt me. And then I added a little bit extra. I said, oh, Father, it is not just about getting, but it's about giving to make me wise in my dealings so that I may acquire the riches, not just material wealth, but knowledge that will enable me to be a blessing to my family as well as others. And I make a charge to go outside of your immediate family and find someone to bless for that day.
Yes.
So that is my final point for this evening. But not just acquire blessings for yourself, but be in a position that you can bless others. Because that's what it's all about. You have knowledge such as you have in these webinars you're sharing. You're not just acquiring the information for yourself, but you're being able to bless other people.
Absolutely.
And those who have participated, the speakers in the series, they've acquired knowledge in various subject matter, and they're now blessing others through what they have acquired. So it's not just getting the wealth of information or money. It's about being able to do for yourself, but also remember that you can do for others. And it's okay to share. God got plenty for everybody.
Norma said,
you know people that they acquire something, they found a good thing and they keep it to themselves. And but if you share, you open your hands to get more when you share.
Absolutely. I want to read one of the comments. Norma said, when was the last time you had an encounter with Jesus? She said, crickets. Problematic, and I need to reconnect. I mean, it actually, it does make you think. When was the last time I had the encounter? When was the last time I really took time out and looked around myself and gave thanks, and just to be grateful, just to say thank you. When was the last time that I talked to God and just embrace His love? So it was definitely, it was definitely something that was like a thought-provoking thing. When was the last time? Was it today? Was it yesterday? Was it a couple of minutes ago? When was it? So yes, I like that point. All the points are in the thread, but Dawn, can you go back? What was the first point again?
The first one, and I'll briefly, it's better to bitter to better. Is you talking about through the whole? It was Lamentations 3:15 through 23rd verse. And again, is you cannot change what you unwilling to admit. Confess your issues. Be honest with yourself and apply God's word to your situation.
Yes. So all the points are listed in the feed below. If you can, again, make sure you share the video. Make sure you go register, because I'm going to take all of these down off of Facebook, and only people who registered will receive them. Will be able to have them in their arsenal. And the registration is free. So go drop it in. Just register, and you'll be able to get all of those. And I might just include our first year speakers as well as part of some bonus. So I might do that. I gotta think what I can give the people special who actually register. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'll do something extra special. So guys, look, we are coming to our pretty much top of the hour. Dawn, again, you can find all of our speaker information and their bios and their contact information on dreamsempowermentnetwork.org. About us, go to the 2019 Women in Power webinar series, and you'll see all of that information there. But Dawn, tell them where they can get your book.
It is actually in the process of being published. If they want to see the full book, because like I said, there's days, and we just did 5, and I did them randomly. I didn't even do them in order. They can contact me actually directly, and I can see that when the book comes out, that we make sure that we get it to them.
Yep. Are you taking pre-orders?
I can, and I'm willing to. I'm on Facebook, and so they can either go to my personal page and direct message me, or they can go to It's On. Either way, I'll be willing to. If there's interest, they can directly message me, and I'll get the information out to them.
Great. Well, I want to say thank you as we are ending our webinar series. Woo! I will go back and recap every last one of them. I think I'll do that maybe on Wednesday. I'll recap all of the webinars, and I'm really excited about this. It has been really, really great listening and learning from all of these speakers. It was just awesome. It gets better and better and better and better.
Well, thank you for the opportunity, because I thought about it, and I was like, as the days got closer, I was like, oh my goodness. But it's been a very rewarding experience for me. I do appreciate you doing this platform and having not just myself, but the others to participate. So for your willingness to put this together.
Yes. So thank you, thank you, thank you. This concludes our webinar for the evening. Again, I thank our sponsor, Extremes Beauty Studio. That's Miss Lynette Michelle Howard. She is a mobile makeup artist. So if you need your face beat, y'all better call her. Check her out.
Now, does she make trips to North Carolina?
She just might. I don't know. But you can find her on Facebook, Lynette Michelle Howard, and inbox her. See if she'll come and do a class. She does do group basic 101 classes, workshops. Hands on. They get there, bring their makeup, and she teach you the 101 basic beats. So, or you can have one-on-one training sessions, just you and her. So she offers a lot of services. Like I said, you guys can get in touch with her on Facebook, Lynette Michelle Howard, and ask her. Thank you guys. I love you guys. Make sure you go, like I said, and register at dreamsempowermentnetwork.org, or simply just subscribe to the page, to the organization, so that you can keep up with all the great information. Look, but I do want you to get connected to the Black Authors Expo. So we'll be sending out some stuff especially for authors. In the next couple of weeks, we'll be putting something together, especially for authors, to get out there. So look for that. Make sure you share the videos. Go back and look at some of the ones that you missed. I'm telling you, you will totally be inspired. Okay, this is Roberta Spate, aka Miss Burt, and I want to say good night and thank you so much for tuning in at the 2019 Women in Power webinar series. And remember, you have to dream big to win big. Good night.
Good night.